All right, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to use this new fees scoring sheet, which you can use to document your VASES outcomes and to auto-calculate digest fees grades. Notably, this version was developed on May 20th of 2024, and so there might be errors or updates, so just kind of stay updated, and certainly let me know if you find any sort of errors in terms of the calculations that are embedded in here, because there are probably some. All right, so when you open up this Excel spreadsheet, you'll notice that there are two different worksheets. There is the form worksheet and the database worksheet. The idea is that with the database worksheet, this is where you're going to be entering in all of your raw VASES scores. And if you have the desire to, you can store these scores for different fees and develop your own kind of patient database. So the idea is that you would enter a fees here with all of the raw outcome measures. This is associated with this current specific protocol, and so if you want to adapt this for your protocol that you're currently doing, you can certainly feel free to do that. It might require some changing of some different equations, which could be some time and effort. But nonetheless, you would enter your raw scores here, and then those would get auto-generated into this form here. The idea being that you would then highlight this entire form, and then you could copy and paste this into your electronic medical record in the objective section of your assessment report. I'm going to show you how you would go about doing that. So let's click on Database. You may or may not enter some identifying information here, so we can just call this fees ID, 0005. Create a fictitious medical record number, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I believe it has to be 9 digits. Apologize about all the noise. The date of service, going year, month, date, so we'll just go ahead and say 2024 0520, and this would be patient information, so you might say the patient was 68, they were maybe male, their diagnosis, here's just a collection of diagnoses, let's say dystrophy, I'm not quite sure. You might have a ID of the person who actually did the fees, so we can say ID 3. The person who rated it, you might have a different rater ID. So this is just kind of keeping track of who did what to kind of increase your reliability and the reproducibility of your findings. So you'll see that you enter one thing here and everything gets copied for the entire protocol. The protocol itself, you'll note here that we have information about the bolus, volume, contrast, consistency, what utensil was used, the instruction, if it was self-administered, if it was held and queued. So this is a protocol that we currently use at my institution that we've worked to develop. And so you'll see that many of these are liquids. We then go on to a couple of puddings and then a couple of crackers for the liquids. And for the pudding, we add some dye. SSV stands for self-selected volume, so that's kind of that patient-preferred volume. These numbers here correspond with ITSE levels. So we have thin liquids, puree, and then solids. This would be the utensils that are being used to deliver these. You can see that many of these are single swallow cues. So we're asking someone to, take all this in one swallow. For the very first trial for this protocol, we have the individual take the 5 ml sip, hold in their mouth, and we tell them when to swallow it, so it's held and cued. But everything else is non-held or non-cued for this protocol. So we're just asking someone to take an entire volume and swallow it in one swallow whenever they're ready, with the exception of these swallows here being drink it like you normally would, or drink it slow and steady but without stopping. So that's our 3-ounce water swallow test. In this column here, we have sip size or bite size, and so we really only fill these out for the self-selected volumes. So this would be for self-select volume of the liquid via cup and also the bite size that was taken. And then we have our actual VASES outcome measures that we would highlight here. I'm going to go ahead and enter some fake data at this point. So we might say that an individual took this in 2 swallows, even though we asked them to do it in 1. They had very little residue. You'll notice that in this version of the scoring sheet, there is no epiglottic residue rating. So something I'm kind of currently exploring is integrating epiglottic residue into our oropharyngeal residue rating. So essentially thinking about the amount of residue that we're seeing on the epiglottis, rather than thinking about how much it's covering the epiglottis, pretend to put all that stuff inside of the vallecula and then ask yourself the question, how filled is the vallecula with epiglottic residue? So this is how I currently do this, and this is in my fees report to increase reproducibility and transparency of how I'm going about doing these ratings. So I'm currently exploring not doing epiglottic residue ratings per se, but embedding it within oropharyngeal residue. Okay, so we'll say this person has very little oropharyngeal hypopharyngeal residue, and maybe there was no penetration or aspiration. So we have a PAS of 1 before, during, after, between bolus trials, and then you'll see that the PAS across the entire swallow, which is what this column is, gets auto-calculated. So it's just the maximum score across, it's the PAS swallow would be the maximum across those 3 swallows, and then PAS max would be the max across those 2 columns, or essentially all of these. Don't worry about these columns at this point. Okay, so then we'll go on to the next trial, and we can say that maybe this person did this in 1 swallow. And again, we have very little residue, maybe no penetration aspiration. So we'll do this. Maybe here they took it in 1 swallow, and we have maybe a little bit more residue. And maybe here we have a super small amount of penetration, maybe both to the vestibule and to the vocal folds, but no aspiration. So we'll call this here. We can see now that across these 3 columns it was 5, and that was actually the worst overall. Maybe this one starts to kind of go awry. They did it in 2 swallows. We can see that there was a little bit more residue for both the oropharynx and the hypopharynx. Maybe this one had a little bit of aspiration, so we'll say that they had a little bit more penetration. We'll say something on the vocal folds, not a lot. And maybe it was a really small amount of aspiration. And so, unsurprisingly, it was silent aspiration because it was so small. And so that would be their PIS rating. Now we move on to our self-selected volume. Hopefully you will have measured this with a food scale, really quick and easy to do. And unsurprisingly, their sip size was maybe something like 22.8 milliliters. They did this in a single swallow. It actually looked pretty good, let's say, for this first one. We'll do something like this. Okay, their second sip size, maybe it was a little bit smaller. Let's say this one had a little bit more residue. Maybe something like that here. Maybe we'll give them some more penetration this time, and maybe this one wasn't so good. We'll say this was a decent amount for whatever reason. We'll say something like 33. We'll say something like, I don't know, 41. It was just kind of a not great swallow. It was a lot of aspiration, so unsurprisingly they coughed. We have something like this. You can see our PS is getting generated still. We're going back to pudding, or a 90 ml. Maybe did this in, let's say, something like 14 swallows. not a lot left afterwards. Here. Now we're at some pudding. Maybe they did this in 3 swallows, but despite that, it filled maybe a lot, little. No, let's give it something like this. Here. All right, let's say it's another one where there was a lot, maybe 57, 6, and let's say here. Last couple, they took a couple bites of cracker. This would be in grams. We'll say 1.5 grams. They did this in 2 swallows, and maybe this one was a little better for whatever reason. They did lots of chews. And then very similar findings. Okay. Let's add maybe something like this. So you'll have entered this for your fees findings. You can see that it's relatively quick, assuming that you're actually going back and viewing every single video clip, which is recommended. When you're done with this, if you want to save this and build a database, then the idea is that you would highlight this and then copy and paste it into here. Then you go to form and you can see what you would copy and paste into your note. So here, just to kind of acclimate you, what we're seeing is our different outcome measures up here. For each outcome measure, we have the raw findings, and then we have the interpretation. So this is based off of the normative data that was published in 2023. These norms aren't perfect, and we're kind of combining some of these norms to get some level of interpretation kind of summarized across an entire protocol. What we can see here is that things that are kind of considered, well, in this column, each of these norms columns, we have percentile rankings. And so what we can see is that this would be the percent of healthy adult swallows that have a rating of this or less. So if we're looking at number of swallows, this person did it in 2 swallows. So about 74.7% of healthy adult swallows completed this in 2 swallows or less. So this person is relatively normal, right? We go down to something like the 90 ml. This person completed their 3-ounce water swallow test in 14 swallows. And when compared to healthy adult norms, 99.5% of healthy adult swallows have a rating of this of 14 swallows or less, and that's really abnormal. This person's doing a lot more swallows than we would typically expect. Similarly for pudding, we see that this person completed their first pudding trial in 3 swallows, and when compared to healthy adult swallows, 100% of healthy adult swallows have a rating of this or less, meaning that this person is doing a lot more than we would expect for most people. We could go over to potentially this finding of penetration that we're seeing here for the self-selected volume as well. Here we see that 67% of the laryngeal vestibule was covered with residue, and 100% of healthy adult swallows, when penetration is present in the vestibule, have a rating of this or less. So most people have less penetration than this when penetration is present. So this person has more penetration than we would typically expect. So that's how you can understand this kind of auto interpretation of these norms. What I've done here is created a color coding system. So anything that's gray represents something that's relatively normal. Understand that when something's like between the 25th to 75th percentile, when something's between a 25th to 70th percentile, it's relatively normal. If something is between the 75th to 94th percentile or between the 6th and 25th percentile, it's somewhat atypical. And if it's kind of more extreme than that, we would call it a little bit more extremely atypical or abnormal. It could be normal, but it's not really typical, and it could potentially be a sign of impairment. So I have the extremely atypical stuff popping out in red. And for all of our airway structures, if it's a rating of 0, I have it blank when it gets auto-populated here, so we just don't see a bunch of zeros. So hopefully it's visually appealing to see. We have our PIS scores as well, and then we have the max across an entire protocol if that's of interest for you. It's not something I really look at a lot, but I have it there for you. We also have results and interpretation of our SIP sizes and our byte sizes. And then we scroll down a little bit and we have the digest fee scores that are auto-calculated based off of this protocol. And so we can see that for this person, they had severely impaired overall digest fees grade with a digest safety score of 3 and a digest efficiency score of 3 as well. So then you could just highlight this entire form and then copy and paste that directly into your evaluation report, whether it's your Epic note or some sort of other electronical note. That's what you can go ahead and do. So that's how you go to do this. Once you are finished with this form, you would highlight all of this, and then you would hit clear contents. You wouldn't cut. I would not cut and then paste into here. That's going to alter the equations. So just go ahead and highlight all of that and clear contents and save that for, save the open data for your next fees. All right, I hope this helps make workflow a little bit more efficient with auto interpretation and auto calculation of digest fees grades as well. All right, take care.